English from Sri Saira. Due to rain, there is bad weather, so I couldn't connect. Apologies for the delay. So we go to chapter 5, Pranams to the Lotus Feet of Sai Baba. Baba's return with Chand Patil's marriage party, welcomed and addressed as Sai, contact with other saints, his attire and daily routine, the story of Paduka's wrestling bout with Muhyiddin and change in life, turning water into oil, the pseudo guru Jawhar Ali. Return with Chand Patil's marriage party. As hinted in the last chapter, I shall now describe first how Sai Baba returned to Shirdi after his disappearance. There lived in the Aurangabad district, Nizam state, in a village called Dhoop, a well-to-do Mohammedan gentleman by name Chand Patil. While he was making a trip to Aurangabad, he lost his mare. For long 2 months, he made a diligent search, but could get no trace of the lost mare. After being disappointed, he returned from Aurangabad with the saddle on his back. After traveling 4 kilometers and a half, he came on the way to a mango tree at the foot of which sat a fakir, queer fellow. He had a cap on his head, or kafni, which is the long robe, and had a satka, short stick, under his arm. And he was preparing to smoke a chilim, a pipe. On seeing Chand Patil pass by, he called out to him and asked him to have a smoke and to rest a little. The queer fellow or fakir asked him about the saddle. Chand Patil replied that it was of his mare, which he lost some time back. The fakir asked him to make a search in the Nala close by. He went and wonder of wonder. He found the mare there. He thought that this fakir was not an ordinary man, but Avalia, a great saint. He returned to the fakir with the mare. The chilam was ready for being smoked, but two things were wanting. One, fire to light the pipe. Number two, water to wet the chapi, piece of cloth through which the smoke drawn up. The fakir took his prong and thrust it forcibly into the ground and came out a live ember which he put on the pipe. Then he dashed the satka on the ground from where water began to ooze. The chapi was wetted with the water and then wrung out and wrapped round the pipe. Thus, everything being complete, the fakir smoked the chilim and then gave it to the Chand Patil. On seeing all this, Chand Patil was wonderstruck. He requested the fakir to come to his home and accept his hospitality. The next day, he went to Patil's house and stayed there for some time. Patil was village officer of Dhoop. His wife's brother's son was to be married and the bride was from Shirdi. So Patil made preparations to start for Shirdi for the marriage. The fakir also accompanied the marriage party. The marriage went off without any hitch. The party returned to Dhoop except the fakir who stayed back in Shirdi and remained there forever. How the fakir got the name Sai? When the marriage party came to Shirdi, it alighted at the foot of a banyan tree in Bhagat Masal Pati's field near Kandoba's temple. The carts were loosened in the open courtyard of Kandoba's temple, and the members of the party descended one by one. And the fakir also got down. Bhagat Masal Pati saw the young fakir getting down and accosted him. Ya Sai, welcome Sai. Others also addressed him as Sai, and henceforth he became Sai Baba. Contact with other saints. Sai Baba began to stay in the deserted masjid. One saint named Devdas had been living in Shirdi for many years before Baba came there. Baba liked his company. He stayed with him in the Maruti temple in the Chavadi and for some time lived alone. Then came another saint by name Janakidas. Baba spent most of his time in talking with him, or Janakidas went to Baba's residence. So also one Vaishya householder saint from Puntumbe by name Gangajir always frequented Shirdi. When he first saw Sai Baba carrying pitchers of water in both hands for watering the garden, he was amazed and said openly, "Blessed is Shirdi that it got its precious jewel, the jewel. This man is carrying water today, but he is not an ordinary fellow. As his land, Shirdi, was fortunate and meritorious, it secured this jewel. So also, one famous saint by the name Anandnath of Yavala Math, the disciple of Alakot Maharaj, came to Shirdi with some people. When he saw Sai Baba, he said openly, "This is a precious diamond in reality. Though he looks like an ordinary man, he is not a ghar, ordinary stone, but a diamond. You will realize this in the near future." Saying this, he returned to Yevala. This was said while Sai Baba was a youngster, where here in the passage, masjid is mosque, math is monastery. So late Govind Raghunath Dabolkar alias Hemad Pant. His picture is given there. He was between, his period was between 1856 to 1929, as per the book. Baba's dress and daily routine. His young days, Sai Baba grew the hair on his head, never had his head shaved. He dressed like an athlete. When he went to Rahata, 3 miles from Shirdi. He brought with him small pans of marigold, jay, and jui, and after cleaning them, he planted and watered them. A devotee by the name Vaman Tatya supplied him daily with the two unbaked earthen pitchers. With these, Baba himself used to water the plants. He drew water from the well and carried the pitchers on his shoulders. In the evening, the pitchers were kept at the foot of the neem tree. As soon as they were placed there, they broke, as they were made of mud and not baked. Next day, Tatya supplied two fresh pitchers. This course went on for 3 years. With Sai Baba's toil and effort, there grew a garden. On this site, at present, stands the big mansion, Samadhi Mandir of Baba, which is now frequented by so many devotees. Beautiful. The story of Padukas, the footprints under the neem tree. A devotee of Allakot Maharaj by name Bhai Krishnaji Ali Bhakkar worshipped the photo of Alikot Maharaj. He once thought of going to Alikot, which is in Solapur district, take the darshan of the Padukas, footprints of the Maharaj, and offer his sincere prayers there. But before he could go there, he got a vision in his dream. The Akkalkot Maharaj appeared in the vision and said to him, "Now Shirdi is my resting place. Go there and offer your worship." So Bhai changed his plan and came to Shirdi, worshipped Baba, stayed there for about 6 months, and was happy. As a reminiscence of his vision, he prepared the Padukas and installed them on the auspicious day of Shravan, the Shaka, 1834, which is 1912 AD, under the neem tree, with due ceremonies and formalities conducted by Dada Kelkar and Upasani. One Dikshit Brahman was appointed for worship, and the management was entrusted to devotee Sagun. Complete version of the story. Mr. B.B. Dev, retired Mamlatar of Tana and a great devotee of Sai Baba, made inquiries about this matter with Sagun Meru Naik and Govind Kamla Dikshit, and has published a full version of the Padukas in Sai Leela, volume 11, number 1, page 25. It runs as follows. In 1834 Shaka, the 1912 AD, one Dr. Ramarao Kothare of Mumbai came to Shirdi for Baba's darshan. His compounder and his friend Bhai Krishnaji Ali Bhakkar accompanied him. The compounder and Bhai became intimate with Shagun Meru Naik and G.K. Dikshit. While discussing things, these persons thought that there must be some memorial of Sai Baba's first advent at Shirdi and is sitting under the holy neem tree. They thought of installing Baba's Padukas there and were going to make them of some rough stone. Then Bai's friend, the compounder, suggested that if this matter was made known to his master, Dr. Ramarao Kothare, he would prepare nice Padukas for this purpose. All liked this proposal, and Dr. Kothare was informed about it. He came to Shirdi and drew a plan of the Padukas. He went to Upasani Maharaj in the Kandoba's temple and showed him this plan. The latter made many improvements, drew lotus, flowers, conch, disc, mace, etc., and suggested that the following sloka, the verse regarding neem tree's greatness and Baba's yogic powers, be inscribed. The verse was as follows: Sadha nimba vrikshasya muladi vasat sudastravinam tikta piya priyam tam tiktama priyam priyamtam tarum kalpa vrikshidam sadhayantam namamishwaram sadgurum sayinatham. I'll try reading it once again. Sadha nimba vrikshasya mooladi vasat sudashtravinam तीर्थम पिय प्रियम थम तरुम कल्प वृक्षसादिकम सदयंतम नमामीश्वरम सद्गुरुम साईनाथम. Upasani's suggestions were accepted and carried out. The Padukas were made in Mumbai and sent to Shirdi with the compounder. Baba said that they should be installed on the Purnima, which is 15th of Shravan. On the day of at 11 a.m., G.K. Dikshit brought them on his head from Kandoba's temple to the Dwaraka Mai Masjid in a procession. Baba touched the Padukas, saying that these are feet of the Lord, and asked the people to install them at foot of the neem tree. The day earlier, one Parsi devotee of Mumbai named Pasta Sheth sent rupees 25 by money order. Baba gave the sum for the installation of the Padukas. The total expense of installation came up to rupees 100, out of which 75 were collected by subscriptions. For the first 5 years, G.K. Dikshit worshipped the Padukas daily, and then this was done by Lakshman Kachishwar Jakhadi. In the first 5 years, Dr. Kothare sent rupees 2 per month for lighting the lamp, and he also sent the railing around the Padukas. The expense for bringing the railing from station to Shirdi, rupees 780, presently 7 rupees 50 paise, and roofing was paid by Shagun Meru Naik. Now Jagadi Nana Pujari does the worship, and Shagun Meru Naik offers the Nevedya and lights and evening lamps. Bhai Krishnaji was originally a devotee of Akkalkot Maharaj. He had come to Shirdi at the installation of Padukas in Shaka 1834 on his way to Akkalkot. He wanted to go to Akkalkot after taking the darshan of Baba. He asked Baba's permission for this. Baba said, "Oh, what is there in Akkalkot? Why do you go there? The Maharaj of the place is here, myself." Hearing this, Bhai did not go to Akkalkot. He came to Shirdi off and on after the installation of the Padukas. Mr. B.B. Dev concluded that Hemant Pant did not know these details. Had he known them, he would not have failed to depict them in this Satcharitha. Before I go to the wrestling bout, there is a translation here of the sloka which says the meaning: I bow to the Lord Sainath, who by his constant stay at the foot of the neem tree, though bitter and unpleasant, made it yet oozing nectar. The oozing of the tree is called amrut, that is nectar, on account of its healing properties, superior than the kalpa vriksha, wish fulfilling tree. So it is said that the neem tree is more like an amrut compared to kalpa vriksham, which is wishes fulfilling, than to fulfill the wishes, something which has got healing benefits, has got more value. That's what is said about this neem tree. Wrestling bout with Mohiuddin Tamboli and change in lifestyle. To return to other stories of Baba, there was a wrestler in Shirdi by the name Mohiuddin Tamboli. Baba and he did not agree on some points, and both had a fight. In this, Baba was defeated. Thenceforth, Baba changed his dress and mode of living. He donned a kafni, wore a langot waistband, and covered his head with a piece of cloth. He took a piece of sackcloth for his bed and was content with wearing torn and worn out rags. He always said that poverty is better than kingship, far better than lordship. The Lord is always brother, befriender of the poor. Gangagir was also very fond of wrestling. Once he was wrestling, a similar feeling of dispassion descended over him. And at the proper time, he heard the voice of an adept saying that he should veer out of his body, playing with God. So he too gave up sansara and turned towards God's realization. He established a mat on the banks of the river near Puduntumbe and lived there with his disciples. Where here, prior to 1957, the Indian rupee was equal to 16 annas and 1 anna was equal to 4 paise was mentioned. Sai Baba did not mix and speak with the people. He only gave answers where he was questioned. By the day, he always sat under the neem tree, sometimes in the shade of the babul tree, babul tree near the stream on the outskirts of the village. In the afternoon, he used to go to walk at random and go at times to Nimgaon. There he frequented the house of Bala Sahib Dingle. Baba loved Mr. Bala Sahib. His younger brother named Nana Sahib had no son, though he married a second wife. Bala Sahib sent Nana Sahib for taking darshan of Sai Baba, and after some time, with his grace, Nana Sahib got a son. From that time onwards, people began to come in large numbers to see Sai Baba, and his fame began to spread and reached Ahmednagar. From thence, Nana Sahib Chandorkar and Keshav Chidambar and many others began to come to Shirdi. Baba was surrounded by his devotees during day and slept at night in an old and dilapidated masjid. Baba's paraphernalia at this time consisted of a chillum tobacco, a tomrel, which is a tin pot, long kafni, a piece of cloth round his head, and a satka, short stick, which he always kept with him. The piece of white cloth on his head was twisted like matted hair. The flowed down, uh, and flowed down from the left ear on the back. This was not washed off for weeks. He wore no shoes, no sandals. A piece of sackcloth was his seat for most of the day. He wore a kapan, which is waistcloth band, and for warding off cold, he always sat in front of the duni, the sacred fire, facing south, and his left hand resting on the wooden railing. In that dhuni, he offered an oblation of egoism, desired and always uttered Allah Malik. God is the sole owner. The masjid in which he sat was only of 2 room dimensions. All devotees come and saw him. After 1912, there was a change. The old masjid was repaired and a pavement was constructed. Before Baba came to live in this masjid, he lived for a long time in the place Takia, where with gungru, small bells, tied on his ankles, Baba danced beautifully and sang with tender love. Turning water into oil. Sai Baba was very fond of lights. He used to borrow oil from shopkeepers and keep lamps burning the whole night in the masjid and temple. This went on for some time. The baniyas, who supplied oil gratis, who are the shopkeepers, once met together and decided not to give him oil. When, as usual, Baba went to ask for oil, they all gave him a distant no. Unperturbed, Baba returned to the masjid and kept the dry wicks in the lamps. The baniyas were watching him with curiosity. Baba took the turmrail, the tin pot, which contained very little, few drops of oil, put water into it and drank it, and then forced it out to fall into the container. After cons- consecrating the tin pot in this way, he again took the water from the tin pot and filled the lamps with it and lighted them. To the surprise, the dismay of watching baniyas, the lamps began to burn, burning the whole night. The baniyas repented and apologized for, and Baba forgave them and asked them to be more truthful in the future. The pseudo guru Jawhar Ali. That's the next topic. 5 years after wrestling about above mentioned, one fakir from Ahmednagar by the name Jawahar Ali came to Rahata with his disciples and stayed in Bakhal, spacious room near Veerabhadra temple. The fakir was learned, could repeat the whole Quran and had a sweet tongue. Many religious and devout people of the village came to him and began to respect him. With the help of the people, he stayed to build an idba, a walled enclosure in which Mohammedans pray on Eid day, near the Veerabhadra temple. There was some quarrel about this affair, on account of which Jawahar Ali had to leave Rahata. Then he came to Shirdi and lived in a masjid with Baba. People were captured by his sweet talk and he began to call Baba his disciple. Baba did not object and consented to be his chela, disciple. Then both Guru and Chela decided to return to Rahata and live there. The Guru, teacher, never knew his disciple's worth, but the disciple knew the shortcomings of the Guru. Still, he never disrespected him, observed carefully his duties. He even served the master in various ways. They used to come to Shirdi off and on, but the main stay was in Rahata. The loving devotees of Baba in Shirdi did not like that Baba should stay away from them in Rahata. So they went in deputation to bring Baba back to the Shirdi. When they met Baba near the Idgah and told the purpose of for which they came, Baba said to them that the fakir was an angry, ill-tempered fellow. He would not leave him like that. They should better go back to Shirdi without him before the fakir returned. While they were just talking, the fakir turned up and was very angry with them for trying to take away his disciple. There was some hot discussion and altercation, and it was finally decided that both Guru and Chela should return to Shirdi. And so they returned and lived in Shirdi. But after a few days, the Guru was tested by Devi Das, and he was found wanting. 12 years before Baba arrived in Shirdi with a marriage party, this Devidas, aged about 10 or 11 years, came to Shirdi and lived in the Maruti temple. Devidas had fine features and brilliant eyes, and he was dispassion incarnate and a dhyani. Dhyani means learned person. Many people namely Tatya Kote, Kashinath, and others regarded them as their guru. They brought Jawahar Ali in his presence, and in the discussion that followed, Jawahar was worsted and fled from Shirdi. He went and stayed in Bijapur and returned after many years to Shirdi and prostrated him before Sai Baba. The delusion that he was Guru and Sai Baba his Chela was cleared away, and as he repented, Sai Baba treated him with respect. In this case, Sai Baba showered by his conduct, how one should get rid of egoism and do the duties of a disciple to attain the highest end, self realization. The story told here according to the version given by Masalpati, Malsapati, a great devotee of Baba. In the next chapter, Ram Navami festival, the masjid, its former condition and later improvement in it, etc., will be described. Bow to Shirdi Sai, peace be to all. Where Ram Navami festival is nothing but the festival celebrated in the honor of Lord Sri Rama. So we shall meet in the chapter 6 next week. Om Shri Sai Ram.